You call these weapons? I've seen mining lasers more threatening. Commander Vilrek's voice boomed over the laughter of his troops, the brittle rifle in his claws snapping like a twig. He tossed the human firearm to the rocky ground with disdain, his armored tail thrashing behind him. Around him, the elite soldiers of the Galactic Vanguard set up camp on the rugged expanse of Kalthora Prime, their every motion brimming with arrogance. This was no battlefield, they thought. This was a mop-up operation. Advanced alien scanners hummed, declaring the perimeter secure, yet the hollow wind carried no reassurance. Primitives, a younger soldier chimed in, his tone dripping with derision. They still rely on kinetics, metal slugs. It's almost quaint, but high above. Hidden within the jagged cliffs, Sergeant Ethan Kane steadied his breathing. Through his rifle scope, he watched the aliens parade their overconfidence, like fools begging to be corrected. Beside him, Valerie Pierce, his spotter, adjusted her binoculars, murmuring, "One rifle, one shot, and their tune will change." "They're loud now," Ethan replied, his voice calm as a heartbeat. "Let's see who's laughing when the first round hits." In the valley below, laughter faded into uneasy silence, the hunt already beginning. "You know, I almost feel sorry for them," drawled one alien soldier, crouching beside a jagged rock formation. His scales shimmered faintly under the pale light of Kalthora Prime's twin moons. Forced to fight with relics from the Stone Age. They don't stand a chance. Commander Vilrek smirked, a predatory glint flashing in his yellow eyes. Pity is for the weak. These humans think they can resist us. They're an inconvenience, nothing more. Around him, the other soldiers chuckled, their armored claws gripping weapons humming with energy. The Galactic Vanguard spread out across the desolate terrain, securing key outcroppings and choke points. Their advanced scanners reported nothing but barren rock and faint geothermal readings. Victory felt inevitable, their mission, a routine cleansing of resistance fighters, practically complete. Yet high above, nestled in the shadows of a jagged cliff, Ethan Kane observed the unfolding spectacle through the magnified clarity of his sniper scope. His breathing was measured, his posture unmoving, even as the alien soldiers beneath him jeered at humanity's expense. Valerie Pierce adjusted her binoculars beside him, her tone dry but focused, overconfident, just like the last patrol we nailed. "Do you think they ever wonder why we let them land without resistance?" "They don't wonder, Val," Ethan replied, never taking his eye off the crosshairs. "They assume. Arrogance blinds them." The duo were invisible amid the cliffs, their positions concealed by masterfully applied camouflage netting and clever use of the terrain. Hours earlier, they booby-trapped critical pathways and planted sonic decoys to mislead the enemy, a meticulous craft born of years perfecting guerrilla warfare tactics. The tension below was almost palpable, masked poorly by overconfidence. Aliens postured and boasted, ignorant of the silent watchers stalking their every move. One soldier stood to address a gathered group, jabbing a talon finger at the hologram of a human rifle. "Outdated, fragile, inefficient," he declared, breaking into a smug grin. "They might as well hurl rocks." The laughter was raucous this time, emboldened by sheer ignorance. Up on the ridge, Ethan exhaled slowly. "They're moving into the first funnel," he muttered, eyeing the narrow pass where the alien formation split to scout ahead. His hands, though steady, flexed slightly, adjusting his aim. "Which one first?" Valerie asked, already marking targets. "The loudest one," Ethan said coolly. "Always the loudest." Valerie smirked. "I like your style." The aliens, oblivious, continued their leisurely patrol. One squad entered the narrow rock passage below, the perfect bottleneck Ethan had calculated hours before. Rocks shielded them from all but one angle, the sniper's vantage. The crosshairs hovered on the squad leader, his shining pauldron marking him as the officer in charge. His shoulders were squared, his voice carrying over the din of his squad's chatter. Ethan timed the rhythm of his breathing to the officer's movements. Valerie murmured beside him, her voice just above a whisper. Wind speeds picking up at 3 clicks north. Adjust 2 clicks right. The command was unnecessary. Ethan had already accounted for it. Steady, he muttered. A single squeeze of the trigger broke the silence, and the shot rang out like a thunderclap. The officer collapsed mid-stride, the round punching through his visor and silencing his arrogance in an instant. The squad froze. What just? One soldier began before another shot cracked across the valley. A second alien dropped. Panic rippled through the formation as soldiers scrambled for cover, barking orders in their alien tongue. But there was nowhere to hide. The valley was a death trap. Valerie leaned slightly to reposition her binoculars, her tone as calm as a morning chat. 2 shots, 2 down. They're already scattering. They'll learn quickly, Ethan said, moving to a secondary firing position just 10 meters away. Too bad for them. It won't matter. Below, the mocking laughter had died, replaced by the discordant clamor of panic. The snipers watched, calculating their next move as the aliens hesitated, unsure whether to retreat or charge blindly forward. Let's see how much more they have to lose, Ethan murmured, his rifle shifting to its next target. The panic among the Galactic vanguard grew with each crack of the sniper rifle. The once boisterous unit, brimming with confidence, now splintered into chaos. A soldier crouched behind a jagged boulder, his breathing ragged and uneven. His clawed hand trembled as he gripped his plasma rifle. Every shadow seemed alive, every noise a potential shot. "They're picking us off," hissed the lieutenant, his voice sharp with frustration as he barked into his comms. "Deploy suppressive fire. Find the shooter." A flurry of plasma bolts hissed through the valley, their searing blue light cutting through the twilight. The alien soldiers sprayed the cliffs indiscriminately, peppering rocks and shadows in a futile display of dominance. Their commander, Vilrek, snarled from behind his portable energy shield, his confidence eroded with every soldier who fell to the unseen assailant. Ethan Kane watched the display through his scope, unfazed. The clumsy barrage of energy weapons was noisy and chaotic, but ultimately ineffective. He shifted to his next firing position, his steps silent as death itself. "Scatter their focus," Valerie whispered over their secure comms, her tone composed as she shifted to set up her spotting equipment again. "Take one far from the others." Ethan smirked faintly, adjusting his aim to target a soldier near the cliff's edge, well away from his squad. "Got him." The shot echoed, splitting the still air. The soldier jerked, his lifeless body tumbling dramatically over the edge of the cliff. Cries of alarm spread through the remaining forces like wildfire. Ethan's choice had been deliberate. One death in isolation was a calculated terror tactic, far more unnerving than gunning down another soldier in formation. "Position 3, Valerie reminded him coolly, already scanning for the next high-value target. Ethan moved with practiced efficiency, his camouflage blending seamlessly into the rocky landscape. The Galactic soldiers' plasma barrage roared impotently behind him, but they never hit anything. For all their technology, they were blind in this terrain. "Commander," one alien bellowed, his voice cracking under the strain, "we have to retreat. They're ghosts." Commander Vilrek's voice cut through their panic like a blade. "No, humans are inferior, just pests with antiquated weapons. Hold your ground and locate the shooter. I won't let them make fools of us." His claws sliced the air in fury as he gestured for a squad to charge the cliffside. Ethan and Valerie watched through their binoculars as a group of 6 soldiers scrambled up the narrow rock face, attempting to flank their sniper nest. The sniper's silence in response gave them false confidence. "Looks like they finally want to play offense," Valerie said with dry amusement. Ethan didn't reply. His rifle's barrel tracked the lead soldier with meticulous precision as they ascended the jagged terrain. The first shot rang out. The leader's body fell limp, his momentum causing him to slide down the cliff, crashing into his comrades below. Ethan fired twice more in quick succession, taking out the second and third soldiers as the remaining three froze, their mission abandoned in the face of sheer dread. Their desperate scramble to retreat turned into chaos, their footing uncertain. "That's 4 shots," Valerie counted softly. 3 kills, 1 broken team. "Think they'll try again?" "Doubt it," Ethan muttered, reloading his rifle without hurry. "But let them think about it for a while." Below, Commander Vilrek roared in frustration. His forces were fracturing. The elite vanguard, renowned across the galaxy for their discipline, had been reduced to a disorganized mob. "Commander, we're too exposed," one officer cried. "They're toying with us. We need cover or reinforcements." "Reinforcements?" Vilrek spat, his eyes narrowing in contempt. "For a handful of humans? You coward. They're one team, one." His denial was as much to convince himself as his troops. Meanwhile, Ethan was already setting up for his next strike. This time, he adjusted his scope towards the squad's comms officer, who had taken shelter near the perimeter. "If they can't coordinate, they can't fight," Ethan remarked coldly, pulling the trigger. The comms officer's head snapped back, the alien's vital link to the others severed in one clean shot. A split second later, Valerie spoke into her secure channel. "Signal confirmed down. Their squads are officially scattered." Vilrek's panic simmered beneath his anger now. The enemy was invisible yet unrelenting, impossibly accurate with outdated weapons. His troops had entered this battle confident in overwhelming superiority. Now they crouched behind rocks, too terrified to even attempt countermeasures. In the quiet moments between sniper shots, the air grew heavy with dread. The once booming banter and camaraderie of the Galactic soldiers had dissolved entirely. The wind carried nothing but distant, unanswered cries for aid, punctuated only by the sharp echo of gunfire as Ethan continued his merciless assault. The killing field below lay strewn with alien bodies. Plasma rifles, useless in this terrain, were abandoned beside their fallen owners. Some soldiers, too terrified to move, simply froze in place, waiting for death. Valerie whispered, almost conversationally, "They've stopped moving again. How long before they try running for the dropships?" "Doesn't matter," Ethan replied, his scope zeroing in on the commander himself. "We end this, starting with their leader." The shot was lined up, his breathing slow and steady. One squeeze of the trigger would silence Vilrek's roar for good. The cold calm of the sniper's aim was a far cry from the trembling chaos below. Yet Ethan hesitated, just long enough for Valerie to speak. "Not yet. Let him stew. A panicked leader makes mistakes." Reluctantly, Ethan moved his scope. The hunt wasn't over yet. The Galactic soldiers no longer spoke. Communication had broken down into fragmented murmurs and panicked whispers as the once proud vanguard scattered across the battlefield, seeking shelter in vain. Every crevice, shadow, and rock seemed a potential sniper's nest. Their bravado, which had fueled their mocking laughter earlier in the day, had evaporated. In its place sat an oppressive, gnawing fear, a realization that the battlefield had turned into a cage and they were the prey. Commander Vilrek prowled behind an outcropping, his clawed hands flexing with restrained fury. His protective energy shield shimmered faintly, but its glow felt like a target on his back. He scanned the area with bloodshot eyes, but the vast expanse of craggy terrain revealed nothing. "Report!" He barked into his communicator, his tone clipped and desperate. Silence. Then a faint static-filled response. Sir, we can't locate them. They're ghosts. The voice cut off abruptly with a sound the soldiers now dreaded. The sharp crack of a human sniper rifle. Another one's down, Ethan muttered to Valerie as he watched the comms officer slump behind a rock through his scope. His trigger finger itched as he briefly tracked Vilrek. Not yet. Patience was the game now, and they were winning. Valerie scanned the remaining alien positions with sharp eyes. The vanguard had abandoned any pretense of coordinated movement. Isolated pairs huddled together. Two paralyzed to regroup, their body language betraying their hopelessness. They're breaking down, she noted calmly. Focus on keeping them fractured. Take the runners. Ethan zeroed in on a small group, making a desperate sprint towards the dropships perched on the outskirts of the battlefield. Without hesitation, he lined up his shot, inhaled and exhaled smoothly. Crack! The lead runner stumbled mid-stride, his momentum carrying his lifeless body to the dirt. The others froze, looking frantically around as though hoping to spot the invisible predator. Seconds later, another fell. Then another. By the time the last reached the ship's ramp, the sniper's reach had cut their numbers down to 1. Nice touch, Valerie murmured, her tone sardonic. Leave one alive to spread the fear. The surviving alien fell to his knees at the foot of the dropship, too rattled to even crawl inside. His screams echoed faintly across the desolate field, pleading with invisible gods. From his shelter, Commander Vilrek slammed a fist into the ground, his fury blazing now against his own soldiers' cowardice. Fight back! Damn you! They're only 2 humans, he bellowed. 2! His frustration was as much directed inward as outward. The vanguard was renowned for their precision and ruthlessness, yet here they were, decimated by a team of low-tech Terran relics. He couldn't fathom it, nor could he admit what he had long denied. These humans, with their inferior weapons, had done more damage to his forces than entire armies armed with the galaxy's most advanced tech. We need to regain the high ground, a surviving officer stammered. It's the only way to draw them out. No. Vilrek snapped. It's what they want. Use the dropships for air superiority. Flank their positions. Flush them out with plasma strikes. The officer hesitated but obeyed, barking orders to the few remaining soldiers. They moved toward the dropships with calculated speed, clearly hoping their mission would shield them from the next bullet. Ethan and Valerie observed the maneuver with cool detachment. Dropships are moving, Valerie said. They're going airborne. What's the plan? Ethan's gaze shifted, watching the first ship lift off. A faint smirk crossed his lips. Let them. If they're in the air, they're easier to spot, and they don't know about the signal scrambler yet. From their secure post, Valerie activated the device hidden within the terrain. A wide band of electromagnetic interference rippled across the battlefield, frying the dropship's targeting systems. The pilots, once confident in their superiority, cursed over their garbled comms as their instruments failed one by one. The lead ship hovered uncertainly, its pilot frantically toggling controls in an attempt to regain functionality. This hesitation sealed their fate. Ethan adjusted his scope, calculating wind speed and altitude with deadly precision. A single shot rang out, and the ship jolted violently as the round tore into a critical exhaust manifold. The craft careened out of control, belching fire and smoke as it plunged into the battlefield below. The explosion rattled through the valley, shaking the already fractured morale of the vanguard. Vilrek staggered to his feet, the bright orange inferno reflected in his wide, disbelieving eyes. They shot down a dropship, he muttered, half to himself. With a sniper rifle, the remaining dropships abandoned their offensive maneuvers, retreating hastily beyond the scrambler's range. This wasn't warfare, it was humiliation. Valerie's voice cut through Ethan's headset. That leaves them grounded. The commander's next. Ethan repositioned silently, crawling to a vantage point overlooking Vilrec's position. Through his scope, he saw the alien leader standing exposed in the open, his shield generator flickering and weak. Anger had consumed his fear, leaving only blind defiance. The Galactic soldiers clung desperately to their fractured ranks as their commander began shouting orders. No more running. If they want to fight, we give them one. Humans bleed just like. A single shot cracked through the air, silencing Vilrec mid-sentence. The commander's towering form wavered briefly, then crumpled, his body hitting the dirt with a dull thud. The battlefield fell into an eerie stillness. Commands down, Ethan said coldly. Valerie surveyed the scene one last time. The survivors are done. They won't fight, not anymore. And indeed, the surviving vanguard, leaderless and shattered, threw down their weapons. Some fled. Others surrendered to the silence of their annihilation. This battle, once marked by arrogance and contempt, now belonged to the snipers who had turned it into a hunting ground. As Ethan disassembled his rifle, Valerie packed up their spotter's gear. Neither spoke much. The mission wasn't over. They'd leave a trail of whispers in their wake. Stories of ghost-like hunters and the folly of underestimating humanity. Above them, the stars began to emerge, indifferent witnesses to the Galactic Vanguard's crushing defeat. The humans faded into the shadows once more, leaving only the promise that the next laugh at their expense would end just as brutally. The battlefield lay in deathly silence, broken only by the crackle of smoldering wreckage. Disarmed and disoriented, the remaining Galactic Vanguard troops wandered aimlessly, their confidence shattered. The shadows stretched across the rocky terrain as Ethan and Valerie moved with practiced precision, vanishing like ghosts into the vast expanse. They left no trace of their presence, only the crushing fear etched into the minds of their foes. Far beyond the battlefield, whispers spread across galactic networks like wildfire. News of the ambush traveled quickly, transforming what had once been a casual underestimation into a universal warning. Humans are dangerous. Analysts spoke of their primitive firearms as deceptively powerful tools of terror. High-ranking officials debated the unorthodox yet deadly precision of the humans' tactics, calling them unpredictable masters of asymmetric warfare. In their secluded hideout, Ethan leaned his rifle against the wall with a quiet sigh, exhaustion evident in the way he slumped into a seat. Valerie handed him a canteen of water, her expression equally weary yet resolved. For a moment, they exchanged a knowing glance. No words passed between them. They understood each other perfectly. As darkness fell, they began their quiet preparations. Another mission loomed, another lesson to teach the galaxy.